extremely played often here. So, but yeah.
It's a bigger subject we can talk about later, but for now, let's get to Erangel. The grassy pastures on the way here for PGS2.
Teams off to a great start that you don't want to see getting the ball rolling. Na'Vi coming in with a win. Now Sonics back-to-back in the previous two. And Expendables as well, despite them being torn to pieces by a single nade, are really feeling it right from the start. I'm Toby, joined by Matchroom. We're taking a look at Erangel for the first time here at the PGS2 Grand Finals. Matt, what a hell of a song arm finish we just saw.
This is, we've been treated at the start of today.
Oh,
let's be honest.
Definitely.
It's very southern lean inside of our circles, but it's odd. Whenever we've been going over to Erangel, we've been getting a lot of that area around shooting range. And I'm kind of curious if we see that pattern continue, although we got an Everest, we got 2 schools, and we got chopsticks. I'm pretty content on Erangel.
I was just going to say, we got double military as well. Actually, you know what, come to think of it, I feel like we've been pretty blessed with a good set of variety on this map now for Game BT and Forest. I see Babsang head hop for a vehicle. He is going to be the one to claim it, but does he drive away? I hope he does, because Master is going to... Oh my god, if he does this, that would be the sickest nade. I mean, honestly, Elliot just got 4 kills with 1 nade, but nope, not going to happen. Even with the bounce off the tree, Babsang head gets to honk, 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 his way to safety.
It never stops being funny. The I took your vehicle.
Wait, can I just for a moment, as we're looking at the map here, ask Falcons why they're split Prison and Novo?
The only thing I can think of is based off of the plane pathings and the way we saw it be very north-south, maybe just
They're
a committal.
Sending 2 players across in case it's Amelia Island. We're already yeah, you know what? It's just not something you see too often. Honestly, right now, pick one Falcons, because you have players in Nova and you have players up towards Lumberyard. It's not going to go both areas, that's for sure, but I think if I was to put my money in anything, I'd probably start rotating towards Milton
Did you just challenge the way that the circles have gone and said, it can't go?
Well, I mean, now we know it's going to go Nova. That's what's going to happen.
It could potentially keep that in for the longest time just to mess with the players. The way
You're not wrong.
But this is also an area that everybody should be pretty familiar with. But with the way the circle leans a bit more to the south with Military Base Island, that does mean that the Lumberyard hillside does make kind of an awkward pathing for a couple of these teams to have to deal with, most notably whenever we look at the Milta or the due north pathing into Milta proper itself. And I wouldn't be surprised, yet again, if this is going to be a very, very heavy game for using emergency pickup, is it can get you kind of past that danger zone.
Definitely could be. Definitely could be. As we take our eyes to Sonics again, finding probably the best start you could possibly hope for in a grand finals, winning 2 in a row. Now off to a what could only be imagined as a pretty decent start here in Erangel. They got plenty of opportunities. They can follow in behind Na'Vi down towards farm, or they can wait for a while, then potentially wrap down over Sosnovka Island as well, which is something we've seen a lot of teams out of Ferrypier, out of that western side of Erangel do in the past. Say, you know what, there's going to be commotion by farm, there's going to be commotion by Milta, let's just wrap down south around, and if the shift comes to us, that's phenomenal. Even if it doesn't, we're wrapping in on the edge, and that's edge-heavy Sonics is what we've been seeing all day.
I do want to point out, though, there's a team that I know that a lot of us have expectations for, specifically whenever we were looking at the winner's bracket side, right? Who's the team that goes to Milta proper itself, and who's the team that's directed center, as FaZe now has themselves the opportunity for a big, big game?
They sure could have. It's always interesting, I feel like, because you know when you have your Pachinki and you go, oh, the Pachinki cheese and win, or when you have a circle that goes straight down to military and there's one team there, oh, the military team should have a good game. I feel like Milta ain't always the same case, because A, the team that loots there doesn't necessarily opt to set up shop. They would usually, in circles like these as well, wrap further north, try to wrap out towards the east as well and try to take some control. In this case, though, FaZe have Gustav up on the western side, but Na'Vi, as you can see, coming in from one side, and you have Cerberus starting to wrap down from the other. So for FaZe right now, split 2-1-1, it could potentially become a little dangerous for them to try and maintain this split. But now, let's listen in to Tai Lu and hear what they have to say coming into the grand finals.
因为我们是第一次进总决赛，所以非常激动。因为我觉得 PCL 赛区的队伍都很厉害，50%要么是冠军，要么不是冠军。我觉得我们现在状态挺好的，我觉得就保持现状就好了，保持好现在的状态。
PCL is the strongest league in the world. Okay, Tai Lu. Okay, Tai Lu. I see you.
On top of that, well, there's a 50-50 chance that we win due to that. That's like the double down on banter, man.
I mean, I'm just saying they're here to fight, and in all fairness, I mean, they've been doing a pretty good doing pretty good at that up until this point, so I don't fault them for it. Currently set in 8th, but everything is so close, of course, that it can still easily go their way. Silson got stuck on a sand dune, and I hope that no one saw that. Especially opponents.
Yeah, I think the FaZe is going to kind of let him go right now. The regroup does look like it's going to be effective as Falcons do find themselves together. Batulans taking some shots into 17 as this is going to be kind of along that northern area, looking kind of in the death road positional. And with this 17 gaming can just kind of play the opposite side. So a lot of bullets going to come out pretty much to shoo them to go. No. This side's ours. You can go wherever you want over there.
This is such a smart setup from Twisted Minds too, and they do this every now and again. Oftentimes they'll be one of the later teams into the circle, so you don't get to see. But here it was perfectly set up. Batulans is the first one to shoot, despite being the one that's the furthest behind, which means that he starts shooting. And then if, for any reason, 17 goes, haha, there's just one player there. He's so stupid for shooting us. Let's jump out of our cars and hunt him down. You have the entirety of Twisted Minds sat there waiting for them to get out of the cars and just instantly find off angles, taking them out. Now, fortunately for 17, they didn't jump on the bait there, but that could very quickly had gone very, very much downhill for 17 Gaming had they jumped on that one against the bait from Batulans.
It also should be noted that Death Road is kind of a thing that we should be keeping an eye out as this moves forward.
Oh yeah.
Teams that who plays north, who plays the south of it is taking some shots at Expendables. Never going to come free of charge, right? They're always going to tax you for that one.
Yeah. Definitely. Tickleson able to get back down to safety. Cover of both trees, hills, and vehicles as he gets banded on up. In the meantime, Expendables will continue their rotation on forward, but where are they opting to set up shop? Same again here for Game PT, trying to make their way in from the north. They got question mark just ahead of them, so could potentially cause a bit of commotion, but for both these two teams, neither of whom like fighting early. I would imagine that even if they do, spot each other, they'd just try and stay clear of one another.
Similar play styles, similar colors even on the map as they it seems like they're comrades in arms and different mindsets. Is yes, they should kind of spot each other in just 1 second, but I mean this is is QM look like maybe going more into that Lippo line? It is inside the zone, right on the edge, might not be the worst. GP, we have seen them kind of go over here before too.
Expendables. Oh, I thought for a second they were going to drive up to Cerberus, and now they're flexing around. If they commit to the shack this early on, I'd be a little worried on their behalf, because that is a phase 1, very hard commit to a spot where you're pretty much guaranteed to have your tires popped. But where are Expendables planning on going again? I mean, Expendables is a team that's been farming edges. Right now, they're just bombing at dead center.
Oh, man. Are there enough people shooting at them to make them stop at any specific location? FaZe Clan now taking those shots in, as we did see Falcons and Capitan trying to shoot them into Milta itself, and I guess that's all they wanted. Let's just crash into the warehouse, keep our vehicles safe-ish. I guess they're already smoking, but ish.
I mean, credit where credit's due. They get in, they take no casualties. Vehicles, sure, I mean, you can get new ones in the city. Only thing I don't say worried about, but confused about is how they do like to rotate in and around the edges in the early game, but here they just send it full speed towards the middle.
We do have 4 angry men that are approaching on that eastern bridge. FaZe is playing to the south of it. Not necessarily a bridge camp per se, but enough to make 4 angry men, I guess 4 anxious men, and not wanting to move too much into this one just quite yet until they feel comfortable. They can play that, I guess, eastern side and kind of wrap in where we saw Falcons do a second ago.
They can wrap east around, they can wrap west around. They should be completely fine in this spot. Again, I mean, FaZe only has 2 players in James and Corexia on this southern side, so even if FaZe do see them, I don't think this is something they would fully commit into. Sonics, again, opting to just take what they're presented with, and Tickleson finds himself a mortar as he starts moving his level 2 vest down the stairs.
And this is just what you do whenever you're playing the edge and there's nobody around you, right? You just kind of bring your loot back over to your teammate efficiently.
He could just drop his vest, run up, take the other one, but again, I mean, out of fear that someone somewhere has a perfect angle on them that he isn't aware of, gotta respect the Kevlar swapping down the staircase.
We don't always necessarily see the setups too for if somebody crashes, let's go ahead and put in this here, and like you'll kind of set yourself up so that way you can grab like a couple of things very, very quickly on a crash. And 4 angry men, you can see bypassing Corexi now, and again, pretty safe. And if they played it south of this, they might bump into TE if they cross the road, but that's about it.
Again, early commitments to Milta proper. First we see it from Expendables, then we see it from 4AM. Now 4AM is a team that I would consider to go more center heavy early on than the other. And oh no, Capitan, you already had 1 tire pop, mate. This just ain't gonna be it, is it? Boop! No, it's not. Salute finds the headshot. Good thing for Falcons is that it should be resible. As, I think DraftKings is making his way down towards his teammate.
Quick glance over at Gen G in 13th place, and I feel like most of those are off of kills, as that's been kind of their MO moving into these stages. But over on to Erangel is a map where we can often see them flex out and have a lot more of their strengths and what they can kind of showcase into this. They are playing just to the north of where we saw Sonics just a moment ago, as 17 is going to be to the east of this position. And I like this compound quite a bit. If the circle does go this way, and given the fact of how much is melee and water and stuff like that, there's a decent chance that it could. This is very strong.
Now, I'm not saying that creates predictive circles, but if they do, then we're in for a treat in just about 1 second. Let's see where we're going. We're actually going south. There's no way that just happened.
All right.
Holy moly, face, get in your cars and get going, because this buffet is completely for yours for the taking.
Look at Jinji. They're like, okay, this isn't the path that we really wanted for this plane, but maybe we can shift into Novo. Everybody now has hop-inside vehicles. It's just going to be wild on this bridge. FaZe has got the inside track on it. As you can see now, it's going to be shots coming out from, it's going to be Na'Vi taking those into Twisted Minds as they're trying to make their rapid. 4 Angry Men hopping inside their vehicles as well. The Expendables in their position inside of Milton, getting ready to make their jump back down. 17 Gaming as well as Sonics both pathing over into that western bridge just to bypass the lunacy of what's about to happen.
Chaos and chaos galore is about to commence as FaZe is up to set up shop, saying we ain't going over, and because we don't, you won't be able to either. Xiaopian, unlucky to fall out of the car there, will be knocked on down, but everyone now, this is going to be one of the biggest funnels we've seen in all of global PUBG, but there's only one way to go, and that is across this bridge.
FaZe doesn't even want to stick here. They see how many people are coming. 4 Angry Men have to deal with Twisted Mind that's going to be back behind them. Cerberus also pathing into this area. They both shifted off into the gas station. They'll now try to take the fight. Meanwhile, Sonics 17, they're just taking a leisurely drive over into the west, feeling far more comfortable about it as Tycon gets a knock.
I mean, Cerberus came in thinking we're going to be the ones to sit here, but there's already 2 teams in front of them, and now Twisted Mind's feeling the hurt of the push coming through from Cerberus. Him as trying to run on down. It's just Spiro lifting his feet here as he tries to stay strong. He's going to fall down as well, but Tulins is so far away from this, there's nothing he could possibly do to try and help out his teammates as they fall.
While this is going on, Tai Lu has managed to jump into an emergency pickup as well. They're going to be navigating over next to Jinji. Question Marks got themselves a boat that they're going to be taking, as well as the Expendables. 17 Gaming going to be stopping over on that western bridge. They do see Sonics. Sonics are just going to commit into a very southern wrap. 17 Gaming are like, okay, they're not stopping. Good. Let's just go and get out of this. My God, 59 still alive, but this is just the Wild West right now. It's just fight for what you can get.
You were the one complaining. You said about, Tygo, bad circles.
I said the fact that whatever you said, like it's going to go down to Novo, you just cursed this. Don't give that to me.
Absolutely insane. Na'Vi able to fly across. Genji, probably the best gifted team off of this, because they were already in the air doing their emergency pickup, flew towards Milta, and instantly swung their parachutes towards the south when they saw the new circle pump. And now, Game PT, the last team to try and follow through on the emergency pickups here. Where do they go? Because everything's going to be taken already.
T5 not wanting to go into the air. They're just going to path over, trying to camouflage themselves into the blue. As it is going to be 17 that's already going over onto the military base hillside just to the north of military base itself. They're going to take the ferry. I got to say,
this ain't a bad play.
This feels like a bold choice Cotton kind of move, because there's going to be a lot of people on both sides of this that can take pot shots into it.
Now, whoever is running highlights here, just bring up the clip of Dano jumping off the ferry and getting 2 players knocked in doing so after this one comes around. It's definitely going to be dangerous for them to cross over by the ferry, but good thing for them is that we know Novo shorelines are free, and essentially all the shorelines outside of where 4AM is currently posted are going to be available too. So many teams now forced to try and go for the emergency pickups and cross it on over. And because of that, I think this is team number 5 that emergency picks across. Because of this, majority of the teams have actually managed to get across.
Yeah, Circle goes to the south. That's not too surprising given the way that this is all laid itself out. I do want to point out that we do have a lot of moving factors in Falcons, Forest, as well as Dano is still, and it ain't stopping.
Falcons were in Novo. Falcons had players in Novo, but swung towards the north side of Milta, and now they have to come back again. If only they knew at the time that this would have been the place to be. Now they're the team, the absolute furthest from the circle.
Here comes Cerberus. They're crossing over the bridge. 4 Angry Men are playing pretty close to it. Remember, we saw them just make their jump over. It's not really a bridge camp per se. Man, that is like one of those old like fair games, right? You're just trying to cook the nade perfectly to land it down inside of one of the largest bowls I have seen inside this map. Is crazy. Play it safe.
Might find the knock on one, but there should be no way that he gets the follow-up as I say that. Oh, Tycon just exactly went around the the crate there. Therefore, easy flush for Crazy, but Crazy has to figure out how to seek it out of this position. To a no, Haisagi runs himself over. Worst timing in the middle of a fight on the bridge for him to fall.
And now while this is going on, we are going to have Danawa cut in below this, use the distraction of what's going to be happening. They were in trouble if 4 Angry Men did not get distracted, so they're definitely benefiting off of this very peculiar firefight that's happening. Let's not forget, Radio Tower still also has Tai Lu in it. These are going to be just a bit past this one. We have, if you mind, Game PT that's going to be over there. And I don't even know, man. This is
everything you wanted, Matrim. This is everything you've been praying for every single day coming into this tournament. Here you go. You better be happy with it.
Yes, yes, I am. Gen G, you can see now picking up 1 down to the south. They're going to push T5 back away. Don't forget about 17. That's going to be the opposing side of them. Sonics, the only team that's really playing to the west at all, are taking some shots in. Falcon's probably going to be pathing over here as well, but everybody is playing Radio Tower Hillside or Novo right now.
Nice shots coming through 4AM down below. It's such a difficult position to play in full control of. 4AM grabbing underneath, taking him down as Third on 5 trying to push on through. 17 is sat there ready and waiting again. Third on 5 without the emergency pickups. Just cannot find a proper entry to this one.
Oh, and it's just going to get worse as now Falcon's going to be pathing into this similar angle. 17 Gaming already taking the shots into them. It's going to make it a bit more awkward as Uju just trying to hold it. Does get the knock on that one. Little Ghost providing some support as well. Falcons, they are going to just hard land into this position, and Silzen just clinging to life, the last one up.
I mean, 17 Gaming full control on that push coming through, and crucial that they get the knocks as fast as they do. And luckily, not fast enough as they are spotted from above. You can see Xiaobei full speed forward is trying to come down and rest his teammate who should be able to get back to safety.
And here we go. We've got Danawa who's managed to hop off of the ferry, and they're going to have to make their way west into Question Mark, the Expendables, and Forest all in Novo right now.
Not too often you see so many teams down in and around this area, but of course this circle did not exactly make for easy and well-timed rotation. Circle swings west because why not? Just go as far away from Novo as we possibly could.
Silzen trying to find some magic here as he is going to get Emmy back up and get an 8 back over onto this. 17 Gaming does get their res as well. But don't forget about Sonics, who are kind of watching this. Sonics pretty much, again, have the only team that are in the West. We're from Crossroads over. That's kind of the only thing they have to work with. All of these teams down in Novo, though, have to separate away from each other, and good luck.
And that's the thing, right? Right now, it's all about trying to make some buffer space from yourself. Try and force teams to roam away from you, or if they want to take the fight, get that fight over with as fast as you possibly can. Expendables want to deal with them on the other side. They have to try to make the play now. In the meantime, Question Mark tries to run off, but Dante can't get to safety fast enough.
And remember, most of the teams that are playing Novo, they did the emergency pickup into this, so they don't have vehicles. This is foot push. This is fighting. I mean, what? We've got ferry pier teams. We've got 2 that landed over here. This is just going to be fight your way through it, and Question Mark is going to be the one that's trying to hold the line. The problem is it's just such a target-rich environment for the people that are trying to come out. Forest is going to be moving up to the north. They managed to separate away from the Expendables. Expendables kind of see what's going to be going on with Danawa as well as Question Mark, but it's going to be how close and how cleanly can either one of these 2 fights between Danawa or Question Mark take this.
Loki needs to buy himself so much space here in order to get his remaining teammates across this street, and so far it's working out for him. Dante is still knocking spots. Adusi on the other side, great damage coming through, but not able to find the knock. Soul will fall and right on the corner. But Loki swings on him.
Nice little dance there to avoid the shots connecting as much as they could have. The rest of Danawa trying to make sure that they flush in, get some more work into it. Nades going out. Loki feeding that information over. Doozy on just the opposing side of that box. He's going to get spotted. He's going to go down. Best of luck. He has nowhere that he can go.
One-man army, and Loki just stands strong, denying any sort of access for Question Mark to cross on through. Salute now on the other side. They know that they have to deal with the threat. Someone no, Tanvu! The damage dealer in the end. Best of luck finds the other, and despite a valiant effort, Danawa falls in 13th.
Now we've got more that's brewing up into the north, as it's going to be Forest that has to move into where 4 AM we're at just 1 moment ago. Navi moving into the Tai Lu hillside at roughly the same time. Expendables have leapfrogged all up in front of this one and are going to have to deal with Game PT that is just right on top of them. Tanvu, you can see, not really capable of moving due to the amount of nades that are just landing all around him.
Game PT really trying to force this one early, and I like it because they know they have fights to come inside the circle themselves. So finding 777 quickly is going to be crucial in them trying to prevent any sort of push through. through here from Expendables.
The curve of that nade on the hillside, so dangerous. Duck Juice, Tanvu, we've seen them pull off some magic before, but they've got a ton of people from. Hella is going to go down, but look at this. Every single time you take a firefight, you have to assume that somebody else is already counter-moving around it. The fight in the north also just continuing to be messier by the moment. If you mind, PT, Daku just up here, raining in damage on the Expendables, and I don't know how you get out of this.
And while all this has been going on, Na'Vi has claimed Observatory to themselves. Now, the circle has swung west, but they just took out the entirety of Tyloo up that hillside. You can see the killed players up there on the hill. Na'Vi coming into this one so incredibly strong as well as Duck Juice sprays on through, but cannot find one of the Game PT players.
And Game PT can't make any move because FaZe is still committed into their defense of Crossroads itself. They're taking shots right into their butts right now. Forrest, last one up for them is going to be Master. He's kind of looking at what's happening there. Expendables finally going to get eliminated, but keep in mind, Gen G with their awkward rotations just a moment ago are inside the circle. 17 has a foothold in the circle, and Sonics, again, the only team west into the north of the Crossroads roads.
Credit to Game PT here. Solid hold, holding out the entirety of Expendables while being shot at by Na'Vi from up above, only taking one casualty. Not something that's easy to do, but Bapsanghead and his troops are able to pull through and stay alive. But issue is, this journey ain't far from over.
Na'Vi defending in. They're like, nope, we want to make sure that we get some more KP out of this one before we have to walk into the death trap that is going to be brewing at any given moment. FaZe did send one member in jeans over pretty close to the Gen G defensive buildings. They're kind of playing the satellite buildings, tower buildings, whatever you want to call them, that are just to the west of Radio Tower itself. Bob saying, hey, though, dude, I love this. Look at how he's navigating right on this very just huge decline so that way nades can't hit it.
Navigating, sure, but the issue for Game PT is now that Na'Vi has been allowed to fully reset. They're set in a perfect position from where GP should have no chance whatsoever of wrapping on over. They have to wrap north around, and as soon as they come around the side of this hill, they're going to be fully visible to FaZe from down below. You can see shots coming through. Melman, easy peasy for him. Game PT out in 8th, but great hold initially, just too much to muster, trying to make their way further towards the west.
4AM is going to be sending it off into the distance, into the far west. Sonics has now crossed over into more of the satellite tower and the buildings complex over here. This is a very complicated area to play just due to the fencing, the walls, everything else like that. And you can see that Sonics realizes, okay, this is where 17 is going to be playing. Let's step over, let's get control over this. Then the south pretty much is ours. They do have to be cautious as 4 Angry Men is now finally one of the first teams around them 500 meters in quite a while, but Xiao Bei, can he defend up? Suju is going to be down, does manage to pick up one of the Sonics members, but the shots are going to connect for the follow-up.
The 1-for-1 peak on over as Sonics do come out victorious in the end. Have to fully reset as fast as possible, though, as Atrian right now currently the only one tasked with defending the rest of the team. Here comes Melman down the hillside. He goes parachute full speed forward, able to land, you'd have to imagine, but the rest of the team on bikes trying to make their way down towards him in the crater down below, and just like that, somehow all of them get down here. I say safely, but Elliot broke his ankles on approach.
Hey, he at least got to a resible position. The problem with it is FaZe, who's been kind of locking down this area for a while, they still have a lot of nades. They still got a lot of Molotovs. Hard Hat Man himself doesn't have to put in too much work. Just got to put out a couple of throwables. Doesn't want to peek too much just yet, but that's because Gustav's going to be following in. That bull is just going to be cooking with nades. With Molotovs, and Mel realizes he got to get out.
I know. I think this is FaZe realizing that we want to keep these nades for as long as we can. We know there's a late game still to be played, but a little worrying that Jeeves just ran up there thinking that he could take this on 1v3 by himself, considering the fact that he had nades to his disposal, wanted to get as close as he could before having to use any utility. When the shots came in return, they knew, great, we got to use them here. Finds the 3. Good cleanup from FaZe, who now gets the circle too. If they can hold off Gen G, they're going to be in a very, very good position to claim the win here as well.
Boy, we got some international usual suspects in our top 4 right now. FaZe, Gen G, Sonics, and 4 Angry Men. 4 Angry Men off on a no man's land, kind of by themselves right now, and that's kind of the way they want it after what all happened around that bridge. No surprise there is Gen G still just trying to figure out, okay, how is FaZe moving through this one? Pio's finally going to spot them out as Sonics, Gen G pretty close to each other in this compound.
Oh, it's like watching 2019 PUBG all over again with the teams that we currently got alive.
That's true.
Sonics, the first team to have to make a move here, trying to creep further forward. Of course, they know that Gen G will eventually have to make a play. Therefore, that is what we're going to set up for. We don't worry about forward. We don't worry about FaZe right now. We have to try and deny any sort of crossover for Gen G, because there's such a small chance now that the next circle is going to stay east side or contain any space on the east side of the road. So that's why you're seeing Sonics pretty much ignore what's happening up here with 4AM, but fully focus on the road side itself.
This is Sonics that are going to be taking the low side of the hill, and just to kind of get away from some of these sight lines. FaZe have good vision up into the north, as once we start moving away from where this road is itself and we get up this hillside, there are a couple of divots that you can kind of navigate, work your way through. Nobody wanting to make the commitment yet because of the focus that happened and over to the east. You don't rightfully know who's now wrapped in back behind it. Also, the issue is there's a lot of visibility inside this circle, and that's why so many teams are now being forced to play edge. Right as soon as Tickleton got a foot inside the circle, he's already being shot by 4 angry men.
Genji's PO went for the if I don't see them, they don't see me. Unluckily for him, he did get spotted. Issue for Sonics is now, though, that is Genji making landfall on the other side. Now they have multiple angles to worry about. They couldn't just focus on the east side. With PO across, that is going to be really, really frustrating for Sonics to have to work around, especially because now FaZe is thinking as well, let's deal with 4AM as fast as possible. We take the full-on fight towards them. They know that they're a wounded team. Clean them now before anyone surviving on the roadside comes their way.
4 angry men had the potential to make their next rotation difficult. So FaZe pushes forward, gets in that low ground, says, nope, if you go to peek over here, we are going to punish you for it. So yes, 4 angry men has a lot of vision. They know how 2 of the teams are approaching. The problem is they can't really do too much about it, as the terrain is very unfavorable for what they want to try to accomplish.
Genji now coming to the southern side as well. I'm curious to see when Gustav reads that and forces his troops back the other direction. Genji actually also helping FaZe a little bit in shooting all the way across the circle. Circle swings over as PO now started to creep ever so much closer down towards the Sonics.
PO doing PO things. He's getting right up on top of that. HSMM about to have to deal with some issues of his own. That nade doesn't connect on H1, but is enough to shoo him away from the angle. James going to be moving forward. Yeah, laying down's just not going to be enough. There's FaZe, gets the high ground and gets the vision.
Easy cleanup at full FaZe, the team that were the first movers onto the island early on in this one. James once again peeks on over, headshot, body shot, connected onto Strims. Here Sonics left exposed. Trying to fend off against Genji, just not working out for them.
Look at this though, Genji realized FaZe made that shift up.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're moving into the north and they're trying to backfill into this. This means that Corexi and the rest of the squad now has to shift their attention into what's going on with Sonics, and now having to contend with the new danger threat close that Gustav has.
It is Gustav against Genji effectively here, as the former IGL of the team and now support flex player is trying to maintain full control on the eastern side. In the meantime, now he goes, guys, if you want to take out Sonics, you better do it now, because you have to come up here and help me real damn soon. And you can see all of FaZe running pretty much on a line here, full speed down towards Sonics. They know that pressure is on. They know that it's of the essence that they get done with Sonics now.
This is your teammates respecting your play, Gustav. 3 members committing into Sonics. They want to secure this situation. They want to make sure that it is taken care of. Tig takes a massive amount of damage. Corexi can't quite find the angles, but with the vehicles exploding in front of them, you can see FaZe realizes there is an opportunity. Time does give enough for the meds to come through on Sonic's line. They've also realized that Genji has shifted away, so now here comes the rush. Can they manage to bypass through what FaZe is trying to accomplish, as PO has moved right up next to Gustav?
And this is the issue for Gustav. He goes, guys, I can't do this for much longer. I'm holding them off as best as I can. But he's constantly trying to maneuver down towards his teammates. Issue is, in doing so, he's allowing Genji that much more control. He's once again running off. PO is on the hunt, but the remaining 2 Genji players are opting to flex in behind Sonics. Genji playing this one very smart, very slow, and not aggressing, but taking the space they're given by the retreating opponents.
And with Gustav stepping away, now PO up into the north, Genji goes, okay, we got what we wanted. Flex back in, and this is one of the reasons why FaZe wanted to let them have it. Now, a full-on pinch onto Sonics, and there's nothing they can do. They are so outnumbered. Nade's going to be coming in. Even if you manage to get away from Genji, you're going to have to deal with what's going to be going on with FaZe back behind you, and this is exactly what FaZe wanted. They wanted to clear up this side, and now it is just a straight-up 4v3.
The issue is now, because of them both shooting, because of Nux coming on both sides, they know they have PO cornered alone. They know that they have him on an island, and they instantly push down on it. Once they saw both DG and EJ's names in the kill feed, reading it off as knowing that there are only 3 left alive, they knew they had a 3v1 in their hands. They instantly push on it, and just like that now, it's a 4v2 in favor of FaZe Clan.
Genji kind of separated out, has got to be careful. Each one having to take down 2 different members of FaZe Clan who have just been dominant as we look through some sections of this event so far. Can they find the opportunities? If Gustav pushes down into this one, if he flanks back in behind it, it could spell the absolute end of them. But three-man stack from FaZe. They got faith in each other right now, and it is deserved.
From full control Gen G to down on the stomachs Gen G they go. FaZe reclaim control. Gustav somehow able to run fast enough to get out of it, and still just keep Gen G baited, keep PO baited to follow him. Just say, come with me, the fun is over here. Then they turn him and then they take him down.
It is such a hard job what Gustav is doing right now, and he's having to do it against PO of all players inside the world, and he's doing it efficiently. He's baiting out Gen G, forcing them to stall, not allowing them to take the tempo of the game. FaZe is dictating so much of what's happening right now, and so much of it is off of the team trusting in what Gustav can accomplish here.
FaZe came into this match with 2 points on the day. 0 points in the previous one, no placements inside of top 10. This would be a huge turnaround point for them to finally get something going to finish off day one with 2 more Erangels left to play. But DG and EJ, they still have something to say about exactly that. 4v2, we've seen it be won by the lesser team before. Let's see if Gen G can do something about this one.
It would require a massive misplay on this Vex, playing against the Rock. Now, keep in mind, FaZe is having to play all of the angles because they don't know exactly where Gen G keeps repositioning, but I think that Gustav saw that. Now he's going to play this a lot more quiet. Wait for the peek out, goes for the spray and doesn't get the knock. DG's going to go down, hold him down, try to make sure that he doesn't take too much out of this. Molotov's going to be a bit too far. Meds do come out for DG. Now it's going to be EG trying to make sure that he can get something out of this one, but EG just can't really find the angles to work with Gustav, continuing to hold this line miraculously.
He is so annoying for these Gen G players. Perfect edge control play, baiting the attention, allowing for FaZe Clan to, with every single step, take more and more control in this circle. And single-handedly, Gustav now forcing them to turn around as James peeks on the second time around. Gen G is playing whack-a-mole against the entirety of FaZe Clan, and they are hitting their shots, and now 4v1. This should be FaZe a clear win as the flush comes through onto EJ.
Push on both sides of it, and it's a flank. There is nothing that can be done. That was just absolute perfection. Mind games, control, everything coming up for FaZe.
What a game as well. We see Luke there, the manager of the team. Everyone happy that FaZe finally gets something going again. 3 games with just 2 points to show for, finally turning things around in one of the most absurd hardships down towards the south I've seen in a long time. But hey, FaZe, they were the first team to get there, and they claimed the island for themselves in the end.
I'm still